when people talk about the sport of judo, Brazil is not always the first country that comes to mind. Yet, the South American giant has won an impressive 22 Olympic medals in judo, including Flavio Canto in 2004. After retiring from competitive judo, Flavio has gone on to media success in Brazil, but one thing that sets him apart from other judoka and presenters is his commitment to improve the lives of children in precarious communities, pulling it up through the values of his sport. Flavio, thank you for being with us at INSEAD today.
It's a pleasure and an honor to be here in INSEAD, Felipe.
Flavio, tell us a little bit more about the Instituto Reação.
Reação is by far the best part of my life, maybe the reason why I'm here. The kids, they arrive in Reação through martial arts, judo and jiu-jitsu, and we have an educational program and a cognitive skills methodology, and we have scholarships, we have a transcendental meditation program, we have many different programs. Today we have about 1,800 kids, and we are in 10 different dojos in Rio and in Cuiabá, one city in the central part of Brazil.
Flavio, how you manage this NGO, and actually you're here at INSEAD in a leadership course. How do you define your leadership style, and how does the experience shape who you are?
I don't believe like in the hero kind of leadership. I think you have to make everyone feel that they are very important. In the beginning, when we decided to build the NGO, I invited a couple of friends, family, about 40 people. We were small, and we did a little crowdfunding for the next 12 months. Each one of us was supposed to decide what amount of money they would be able to pay during the 12 first months. This was back 15, 16 years ago. And that was how we're going to start. And we have a purpose that's very strong now. We built our purpose on what we say, we fight against the lack of opportunities in the start line, and that's what's very cruel in Brazil. A poor kid probably will remain poor because he has a very bad education, and it establishes almost the system of castas in Brazil. Mm-hmm. Everybody wakes up and goes to Reação remembering that we have a mission to give opportunities for them, build self-esteem, give them courage, discipline, humbleness, the spirit of excellence, honor, the spirit of solidarity, and we are building like non-cognitive skills in every one of our kids so that they are able to face this unfair world with more tools to win.
So Flavio, what lessons from Olympic level training do you think also applies to the world of NGOs and business?
Definitely a lot of lessons. Maybe I come from a sport where judo, people normally associate judo with someone throwing someone and someone falling to some other one, right? And not many people see the most important part of judo is when you stand up. And one of the ideas in judo is that every time you fall, you have to stand up stronger than you were before. You have to learn something from that defeat. And I began judo with 14 years old, so I had to run a lot to have good results. I grew in judo losing a lot. I went to the national team before. It was almost, I wasn't expecting it because by then I hadn't won one state championship. And then my life suddenly changed. So I think I grew up in judo losing a lot, and that helped me understand the importance of learning. It's part of the path. I think we learn since we're young to win, and nobody teaches us how to lose. And judo taught me how to lose. I think that was the most important lesson. So every time I had a defeat in judo, I stopped, I breathed, and I realized and I knew that was a very important moment. It was up to me to do what I was going to do at that moment. It was absolutely up to me. So Reação, the Institute, is an example. It came from my biggest defeat in judo. I lost a try to the Olympics in Sydney, and I had to do something to give purpose to that moment, difficult moment I was passing. And that's when Reação started, the best. If I have a gold medal in my life, that's the one.
Flavio, and you here talking to your colleagues who are business leaders. How do they learn from you about those lessons? What's your view on this?
I learn a lot from them. This is what I'm trying to do here. To get better, to improve. We have 10 clubs. I want to have like 1,000, so I got to be ready for that move. But I think what we have that's very powerful, and I think everybody is after now, is purpose. We lived in a society that grew always looking at chasing performance. And I'm very happy to see in the last 10 years, every company is changing their mindset and looking out for purpose. And we can find purpose in the way we do things, not necessarily, it doesn't matter what's our final product. The most important thing, on my point of view, is the way. In judo and in the Institute, we talk a lot about collect, achieve, and pay forward. And I think that's what we have to put inside every company in the world. It's not only my performance. What am I going to do with that performance? How am I going to make people get better and people look after each other? I think that's the only way to succeed in these difficult times we're going to face. And that's what we try to do in the Institute, and that's what I try to do in my life.
Excellent. Flavio, so one last question to you. So when I look at your career, you have done a lot, right? You start as an athlete, you reach the top of what an athlete can have as a career. You went to the Olympics, got a Olympic medal. Then you created an NGO. That NGO now has trained so many people, including some Olympic gold medalists like Rafaela. As you look at this, I mean, how do you see the future? Do you really feel that you passed the baton? What's next for you?
We lived a fairy tale in the last Olympics in 2016 in Rio de Janeiro. The first Olympic gold medal from Brazil was from our athlete, Rafaela Silva. She started with us. She has a very powerful story. She was expelled from a favela from the drug dealers because her sister got into a fight when she was 12 years old. She was super poor. She went to this other favela right in front of one of the clubs of Reação, and the club where my coach was the head coach. So she started from the beginning with the best that we had. She's a natural, Rafaela. She went to the Olympic in 2012 in London. She lost, and after the defeat, she suffered racial attacks in the social media. It was something big in Brazil. She got very depressed. And 4 years later, in Rio de Janeiro, 7 kilometers from the place where she was born, Cidade de Deus, one of the toughest, violent favelas in Rio, she was Olympic gold medalist. For us, it was like a fairy tale. For me, it was absolutely amazing. I was commentating because I work on TV. You can imagine how I was crying and trying to pretend I was not crying, seeing that. And she proved to all our kids what we always told them, that we use a sentence of a Portuguese poet, Fernando Pessoa, the man is from the size of his dreams. And we needed examples, role models inside the Institute. And whenever some of our kids tell us that they cannot do it because they came from a different environment, we always tell them, look at Rafaela. She's #1 of the world Olympic gold medalist. And we have many other kids like her. So the idea of providing a high development program is to show everyone in and off, inside and outside the favelas and outside Reação, that this is what people can do. Like, we can achieve whatever we want when we really want it. When you have passion, we have purpose, we can do whatever we want.
Flavio, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.